Do you foresee any industry? So there's a lot of different industries that are using all these new technologies in different ways that we haven't seen before. What do you foresee as the next big disruptor, and in which industry?
So let's stick to education. Let's stick to CompTIA. So if you look out and you think about how we educate people today, what if we looked out 10 years and I was to say we wouldn't need books anymore, or maybe you have to go 20 years. But if we think about the way people learn best from people. The video is a phenomenal format for that, but people learn best from people. If you had all the writings of Sir Isaac Newton on gravity, and then you had a augmented virtual reality image of Sir Isaac Newton teaching you about gravity, how powerful would that be versus reading a book? What if you had Einstein teaching you quantum mechanics or quantum physics? How powerful would that be? That's the reality that will be there, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, but it's coming. And so you mentioned you have a 6-year-old, I think. Will your 6-year-old learn the way that you and I learned? Maybe not. So I think that if we stick to just learning, there's a recent publication by Singularity University that talks about an initiative that they had that would take people from illiteracy to being able to read and write in 18 months using technology. With the spread of the internet around the world, it'll bring some 3 to 5 billion more people to literacy. And then take that to the next step with virtual reality and augmented reality and some of the capabilities of learning that really magnifies that from a workforce perspective, from a competition perspective. So now you're sitting here competing with 5 people or 10 people or 100 people for your job. Tomorrow you could be competing with 1 million people for your job. It provides a lot of futuristic thought. Where does that take us?
So then what do leaders, technology and IT leaders, need to do to stay relevant in the future?
So I think the first thing, and this is me personally, I think that we get wrapped up too much on the now. And so thinking 30, 60, 90 days, this quarter, this year, we need to think longer term. And we need to go out and say, what are we going to look like in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Think about the Chinese. The Chinese don't plan in terms of 5 or 10 or 15 years. They plan in terms of hundreds of years. We need to look out and then look back and say, what is this going to look like? What should we be doing? What should we be putting in place? So one of the important things is continuous learning. We need to be learning throughout our entire lives. This whole concept of you go to school, you get a degree, and you're done. You're not done. It's a continuous effort. You need to expect that learning is a journey. It's not a destination. So I think leaders need to encourage their employees to be continuous learners. That requires some effort. That requires some funding. That requires programs. That requires things be put in place. Employers need to be transparent about what the future is going to hold for their employees so that the employees can ready themselves for those jobs of the future. Employers need to work with government agencies and educators to make sure the programs are there for their people. We need to then assist the people through that. So and then make sure that the employees take ownership for their own development, because it really is, it's a community effort. So I think that's a big opportunity for us.